Hi, this is Aaron from BoyMeetsPhone.com. What I have here today is the HTC Sensation 4G. It's the newest phone from HTC, currently available on T-Mobile in the US, Vodafone in the UK, and it's coming to Canada from Bell. The Sensation has a 4.3-inch QHD Super LCD display. QHD means it's a quarter high def resolution. The resolution is 540 by 960. Right below the display we have the Android hotkeys for home, menu, back, and search. Right above the display we have the earpiece grill. Underneath the grill on the right side of it, like right around here, is the status light. On the right side of the grill, right there is the VGA camera for video chat and self-portraits. On the left side of the grill we have the ambient light sensor. On the left side of the device we have a one-piece volume rocker. It offers good feedback. It doesn't stick out too far, but it's also not too far recessed, so it's easy to press. Below the volume rocker we have the micro USB port. The micro USB port is MHL compatible, so if you have the micro USB to HDMI cable, adapter, you can use that to do HDMI out. That is actually why there is no HDMI port on the device, because the micro USB port can double as the HDMI port. On top we have the power and lock button. Just like the volume rocker, it hits that nice sweet spot with being not too far out that it's annoying, but not too far in that you can't feel. And right beside that we have the 3.5mm headphone jack. There is nothing on the right side of this device, so that means there is no dedicated camera key. No dedicated camera key, which is kind of disappointing, but HTC decided against that. On the bottom we have the microphone and the battery release button. We'll get more into the battery release later. The back of the Sensation has a 8-megapixel autofocus camera with dual LED flash. The camera can do full high def video, so it can shoot 1080p high def at 30 frames per second. Right beside that we have the speaker. The Sensation 4G has a dual-core Snapdragon chipset, and that chipset consists of a 1.2 gigahertz dual-core Scorpion processor and a Adreno 220 GPU. It has 768 megabytes of RAM, though you only have 558 available. It also has a 4 gig internal storage, but you only have user accessible 1 gig of that. To get to the battery, the micro SD card and the SD card, what you're going to have to do is hit that battery release button right there and press upwards to lift up the device. Once you do that, you're going to push it up a little bit more. This is fun trying to do one-handed. There you go. Push it up a little bit more, then slide out. You definitely don't want to continue lifting after a certain point, because you see the top of the device is covered by this right here, so if you continue lifting you could possibly break it. Back we have a 1520 milliamp battery. Below that we have the SIM card slot. Right now I have a Simple Mobile SIM card in it. And right beside that we have the micro SD card slot. It ships with a 8 gig SanDisk class 4 SD card, so it should be able to get 4 megabytes per second of data transfer out of that. The back of the phone, the chassis, is made out of, it's not the back of the phone, this is actually, notice it frames around the phone, so this is a unibody design. It is not the classic unibody as HTC has gone for before, but This is a unibody design. It's made out of aluminum. It seems to have a black powder coating over it. It has a very satin feel. There's two plastic pieces right here. Those actually act as the antennas. This one would be the 4G or cellular antenna, and this one up here is the Wi-Fi antenna. If you do not have the device in the chassis, at the most you're going to get 2G service. You can see right there I have 2G service. Let's get focus. I have 2G service. That's the most you're going to get if you do not have the phone inside the chassis. The HTC Sensation 4G is running Sense 3.0 over Android 2.3.3 Gingerbread. One of the cool features of Sense 3.0 is the active lock screen. So you unlock it. That's one of the options on the active lock screen, to have the weather displayed. It has that cool flying clouds animation. You can also change it to show your stocks, the time via one of the clock widgets, social networking feeds, and pictures. Another additional feature would be the 4 shortcuts to commonly used apps. You can set these to whatever apps you use the most. How you unlock it is, well, how you quick launch it to the apps is dragging the app down there and letting go. To unlock the screen, you just pull the ring up and you're greeted to that carousel swinging motion. You pretty much have normal Sense. You have all the normal Sense widgets here. So you have the people widget, friend stream, the calendar. HTC Watch is a new feature. We'll be getting to that later. You can do the Leap View. You press home, it goes back to the first panel, and if you press home again, it goes back to Leap View. You can also do it via pinch to zoom. Well, pinch to zoom, pinch to leap. This phone runs incredibly smooth. You have the cool little 3D animations when you switch it. Now these are more noticeable on the HTC widgets. They have the 3D, whereas this one doesn't have a 3D, but it does still have a cool effect when you turn it. Because this is running Gingerbread, you're going to get certain features that HTC added on all its Gingerbread builds. Like if you slide down the notification bar, like regularly you get the list of all the last active apps, but you also have this quick settings, where as you switch that, you can quickly get into commonly used settings, switch off things like Wi-Fi, the Wi-Fi hotspot, mobile network, Bluetooth, and GPS. You also get a link to the task manager, which is also nice to see built in onto a device, so you don't have to actually download a third-party one. There's actually one on the Sensation. You get the normal array of Android widgets on the HTC Sensation. However, there is one that I question the need for. I slide down here. My Shelf. This is for HTC's book app. However, the reason it's doing nothing is because the Reader app is not actually on this device. I don't know why they included a widget that does nothing, but they did. But also in the personalization menu, you can do things like change the lock screen. You can go through all the lock screen options. This is the regular where you just have the wallpaper. It's in the background, and it does work with live wallpapers too. So if you have a live wallpaper up, the live wallpaper will be displayed on top of the device when you unlock it. Your photo album, so you can select what photo album you want to be flying through in the back, and you can click on pictures to select it. Your social networking through FriendStream, the weather, which I have up, and If you have the weather up, you're probably going to find yourself unlocking the device just to watch that animation. That's how cool that is. Your stocks, and the time via one of the clock widgets. Some other personalization options. You have scenes, where you can change the layout of the device to show widgets you are going to need at a particular time. You have a couple already in here. Your social feeds. So if you have the social scenes on, you have the social flip clock on. I'll show you that in a few. This is for work. You have dual time zones. Play, kind of a fun little clock. I don't know what other widgets are going to be using that. Probably music and photos, be my guess. And travel, with several different clocks being displayed. I'm actually going to go back to the home screen, find a blank panel, or make a blank panel. Just get rid of this. Nope, not what I wanted to do. Yeah, if you drag it on this side, it edits, and if you drag it right here, it removes. So if it's turned green, that means it's going to edit. If it shows red, that means it's going to remove the widget. So we're going to remove this widget, and we're going to add the other clock widget. So I can show you that. It's the normal flip clock, but instead you have your social networking feeds listed on the bottom. You can see click on it and see what they're saying. And it opens up the front stream. Not too sure how you change it, however. I'm not quite sure if there's a way to change. I think it's just whatever the last person said is going to be displayed. Yep. Out of the box, the Sensation only has one keyboard, and that is the HTC keyboard. This one's a little revamped. It kind of integrates the gingerbread keyboard with the HTC keyboard. It has 3 input methods. You can either type regularly, use voice input, is coming towards me, or you can use their answer to swipe, which is trace. Let me make a sentence that makes sense. See, it's not as good as picking up what you're trying to say as swipe. See, it was trying to say pure. It didn't even give the option of pet. But it works. I think it needs a little bit more improvement. I found that, especially with longer words, the more letters you have in the word, it had a harder time picking up on what you're trying to say. The keyboard does work in portrait and landscape, like on all other Android devices. And then because of the large screen, you have a lot of room in landscape, which is really nice.